All right, looking at the last three examples for 11.2 and 11.3, and like I said in the previous videos, there's hundreds and thousands of videos on YouTube about factoring trinomials, and hopefully you find mine useful, but you can also search out some other methods. I teach the trial and error method, so getting started here, we're going to factor out the greatest common factor from this trinomial, which happens to be 6x to the third. And then what that leaves me with is x squared minus 3x, and then I believe this goes in 28 times here, so minus 28. Okay. And you can check that that works with the distributive property. Then we want to make sure and copy our GCF down and set this up for our two binomials. We know we're going to have to use x and x here. And then one of the first things that comes into my mind with 28 is 4 and 7. If you're thinking 2 and 14, that could possibly work, but you would see that if you try that out, it doesn't work. So I'm going to put down my 4 and 7. I got to get a negative 3 in the middle, so I know I need more of negatives. I'm going to put the negative sign with the 7 and the positive sign with the 4. So just a quick check here, that's negative 7x, that's 4x, and you can see negative 7 and 4x make negative 3x. So this here is my factored form of the polynomial or trinomial above. All right. Looking at the next one, hopefully you can spot that negative y. This is the GCF. I'm going to pull out a negative y. I have y squared plus 41y, and then plus 16. Okay. Now, taking a look at this, boy, when I work through this, I start to think about y and y, and then I have 16 and 1, and 4 and 4. I'm thinking there's no possibility of getting this 41y in the middle. Okay, so at this point, I mean, you can try the different numbers to get you a 16, but at this point, we can't go any further with the problem, and this is the completely factored form of the given trinomial. Okay, that's it. We have to stop there. We could only factor a GCF. Okay, and then looking at this one here, I'm going to pull out a negative 2, and I'm left with x squared minus 5x, and then plus 6. I'm going to attempt to factor this further. We saw in the last problem it didn't work, but x and x. I could try 6 and 1, and those could produce a 5, or I could try 2 and 3, and those might work to produce a 5. The thing is, I know that this has to be a positive here, and so both of my signs are going to have to be negative, or both are going to have to be positive. Now, I know they're going to have to both be negative because I need to get a negative in the middle here. And that'll come with practice and doing more and more of these problems. But if I use a 2 and a 3, that's going to work out, because here I'll get negative 3x, here I'll get negative 2x, and that produces the middle term of negative 5x. And here negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Okay, so this is the completely factored form. Now I want to take a look at something real briefly with you here back on number 1. I did factor this correctly, and here was our answer. Okay, and what I did is I started this back when we looked at factoring into two binomials, I showed you you could check your answer in Desmos. And so what I did is I put that first trinomial in to Desmos, and what that would look like is this. If I click on this little circle here, it shows the graph. Now you can see those red lines there, and I don't expect you to be able to understand the graph, but I just want you to know that it does make a graph. Okay, what it's actually graphing is it's graphing y equals this. Okay, and so the Desmos assumes that y equals is in there. And then I'm just going to put the y equals in there also. So you see I'm putting in my polynomial here that wasn't factored, and then I'm putting in my polynomial here that is factored. Okay. Now watch what happens when I click on this circle here. You see that blue comes on top of the red, okay, or the different colors come on top of each other. That shows that those two things are equal to each other. They're right on top of each other. So I know I factored that correctly. So you could use Desmos to help you decide if you did factor things correctly. What I like to do instead of using Desmos is I would rather probably multiply this out and check it than put it into Desmos. So you can check with multiplication, or you could check with the graphing in Desmos. Okay, so well, hopefully you found those in 11.2 and 11.3 helpful. They're kind of a mix together. So keep practicing, and if you're having trouble with the trial and error method, look for some different methods on the internet, or drop me an email and I'll try to search out some different methods for you. Thanks.